Hi friends, welcome to Organic True Crime with Sydney Hopes, where I talk about interesting true crime stories. This month I'm talking about poisonings, and today's is a woman who found a way to use the legal system and unfortunately people's lives to make over $750,000 in insurance money. Great. So I'm going to start off with Frank Rodriguez, who was born in 1959 Connecticut to Janet Baker and Jose Rodriguez. He was the oldest of 6 children, and the family moved around a lot until about 1970, when they settled down in Illinois. Frank's father, Jose, was very abusive, and he also struggled with addictions, and turned out to not be all that helpful with the family. So Frank kind of took responsibility for all of his siblings and took care of everyone. That was what he was known for growing up. Frank's father did eventually leave the family, but I'm not really clear on when that was. But Frank ended up earning a teaching degree, and he also married his high school sweetheart, a woman named Judy Adams. The couple was married for 14 years when Judy actually ended things, and Frank struggled pretty hard after that until he joined a Pentecostal church, and he quit drinking and he quit smoking, and he actually became a rape hotline counselor. So, obviously struggled with his own issues, everybody does, but overall wanted to help people. He was a teacher and he, was a counselor. So anyway, seems like a generally good person. Frank, around this time, then got engaged to a fellow teacher named Angel Gate, and apparently she fell in love with someone else and ended their engagement. And this is when Frank meets Angelina. So Angelina was born in 1968 in Queens. Her father was a Puerto Rican man who worked as a cab driver and a truck driver to support the family until he eventually abandoned them, which left Angelina's mother, Anita, to support her 2 daughters as a nurse. And Anita kept her daughters in after-school activities, things like ballet and basketball, which cost money, and she also kept them in a private Catholic school. So she ended up having to work almost constantly to support this lifestyle. And because of her work schedule, the girls were left in the care of their family members a lot. And because of this, they were left in the care of their grandfather quite often. Now, their grandfather sexually abused a lot of women in their family, but he apparently showed a special attention towards Angelina, and this abuse started when she was 2 years old and went all the way through until she was in high school. When Angelina was 8 years old, she attempted suicide for the first time by taking over-the-counter pain medication and trying to overdose. When she was 16 years old, she attempted again, this time with sleeping pills, and she ended up being taken to the hospital and then kept to treat her depression. And I'm not sure exactly when, but at some point when Angelina was in high school, she became pregnant with her grandfather's child, and she did end up getting an abortion. And I'm not sure if that was her choice or not, but anyway, that's what happened. In 1987, when Angelina was 19 years old, she got married for the first time. It was to a man named Hector Gonzalez, but the marriage ended within a year. And this is when she decided to move to Florida and join the Air Force. And shortly after joining, she was stationed in Colorado, where she met a man named Tom Fuller, and the two quickly fell for each other. Within 3 months of their relationship, Angelina became pregnant, and the two got married. Shortly after their marriage, Angelina gave birth to their first daughter, Autumn, and then 2 years later, she gave birth to their second daughter, Alicia, who was born premature, but I'm not sure by how much. She did apparently suffer from a lot of medical issues in the first 4 months of her life and was hospitalized multiple times. And after this, Angelina became very protective of her children, and she also became very concerned with their afterlife and would often worry about things, saying if something were to happen. So she did purchase life insurance policies on both of her daughters. And on September 18th, 1993, Alicia was found dead in her crib after having choked on her pacifier. Now, at the time, people really sympathized with Angelina, obviously. But now, with some more information, it's commonly thought that Angelina damaged the pacifier before giving it to her daughter in hopes that she would choke to death. Now, this was never actually proven, but there are several reasons that people think this. One being, Angelina had a $50,000 life insurance policy out on her daughter, which she did cash. Two, she sued Gerber, the company that produced the pacifier that Alicia choked on, for about $700,000, and she did win. And three, Alicia's father, Tom, says that shortly before her death, the family was out to eat at a restaurant where their waitress actually pointed out and warned the family that the pacifier their baby was using had been recalled due to it being deemed a choking hazard. So shortly after Alicia's death, Tom and Angelina did get a divorce. Angelina used all that money she just made to buy herself a house, a car, and a boat. And then she also followed up with a couple more successful lawsuits, one being against a fast food restaurant that she had worked for sexual harassment, and the other being against Target for negligency after she slipped and fell in a dressing room. And around this time, Angelina started having a bit of a lying problem. She would apparently tell people that she was pregnant with twins, but the people that she was telling knew that that wasn't true because she actually couldn't have any more children. Angelina had apparently had a surgery that left her infertile, and I'm not sure if that was the point of the surgery or if it just happened because of, but she was not able to have any more kids, and people knew that, and yet she would still claim to be pregnant with twins. And after a while, when it became obvious that she wasn't pregnant with twins, she would tell people that she fell down the stairs and miscarried. This is when Angelina got her cosmetology license, and she also got married for the third time to a man named Don Combs, whom she divorced a few months later, claiming that he was too possessive. She then joined the Army National Guard, which is why in February of the year 2000, I hate saying that year because you have to say the year 2000. Anyway, she found herself in a boot camp where she met Frank Rodriguez. The two immediately hit it off and began dating, and after 2 months of dating, they got married, and they almost immediately started having issues in their marriage. Angelina claimed that Frank was very possessive and controlling, and that he wouldn't allow her to work, and that he was very strict with her daughter Autumn. However, he is unable to defend himself, and everyone that knows him says that that's not true and that their problems came from Angelina, but we don't really know. So we just know that they were having issues. 3 months into their marriage, Frank purchased a $250,000 life insurance policy, naming his wife the sole beneficiary. And this is when Angelina's friends claimed that she started talking about killing her husband. And she would say, he has a life insurance policy, I might as well just get him out of the way, things like that. And her friends obviously assumed she was joking because people aren't usually serious when they say things like that. So they didn't really think that much of it. They joked along with her until, unfortunately, it was too late. In August, Angelina began having an affair with a man named Matt Morones. I'm so sorry if I'm saying that wrong. Can't even say normal words right. Anyway, she started making plans to leave her husband Frank for Matt, but leaving him just wasn't enough, or it wasn't right for her. I don't know. So instead, she started making plans. And one weekend, when she was going away for the weekend, planning to spend the whole weekend with Matt, not sure what she told her husband she was doing for the weekend, she loosened the gas cap on their dryer, hoping to kill her husband with carbon monoxide poisoning while she was gone. Luckily, Frank noticed before any real damage was done, and he fixed it. And I'm assuming her daughter Autumn wasn't home at the time and that she was, I don't know, with her dad or something, but I don't actually know that for sure. Anyway, Angelina did not give up there. In September, Frank became very ill, and he was taken to the hospital where the doctors said that he had food poisoning, and they sent him home with instructions to get lots of rest and drink lots of fluids, especially Gatorade. So Angelina and her daughter Autumn took him home and nursed him. They fed him lots and lots of Gatorade, but he just was not getting better until 3 a.m. on September 9th. when Angelina found her husband, Frank Rodriguez, laying face down, dead on their bedroom floor. And just hours later, Angelina called their insurance company to find out if she could get the life insurance money, and they told her she would have to wait until they at least had a death certificate because he had literally just died. A few days after Frank's death, Angelina started claiming to be pregnant with twins again, but the family didn't believe her, and they asked her for proof that she was pregnant and also proof that they belonged to Frank, and they never got any of that, and she just kind of stopped talking about it. So at first, police, I guess, just thought that Frank had died from the food poisoning that he had just been in the hospital for, but for some reason, Angelina started suggesting that it was poison. And she said that she got a phone call by some person she didn't know, and all they said was, ask them about antifreeze, and then hung up. It was later proven that she did not receive such a phone call. And I don't know why. Doctors don't usually look for antifreeze, especially when they think someone has just died from food poisoning, but they did. They got a toxicology report and found a lot of antifreeze in Frank's system. Now, why would Angelina mention this? Why would she think antifreeze? They wonder, and they ask, and she says that his coworker poisoned it. They didn't believe her, and she was the only person getting a whole lot of financial gain off of this death, right? So Angelina was arrested in February of 2001 for the murder of Frank Rodriguez. And actually, when they arrested her, they realized that she was in the process of another one of her lawsuits. She was going to sue her landlord for asbestos poisoning, but she did not get the chance to. When Angelina was taken to trial, she claimed that Frank had killed himself. She said that she had only pointed the finger at a coworker before because she hadn't thought of Frank's depression, but now that she thinks about it, they were both really depressed in their very unhappy marriage, so obviously he just gave himself antifreeze. This defense didn't really work for Angelina, and she was convicted of murder of Frank Rodriguez, and she was sentenced to death. She still is living on death row at 54 years old in California. And that is Angelina Rodriguez. She was known for not showing any kind of remorse when talking about these deaths, and she would just say, well, I don't feel bad because I didn't do it. But did you? Her daughter Autumn now says that she feels horrible because she was helping give her stepfather Gatorade. She was taking care of him. She had no idea that she was actually helping kill him. How could you use your child to do that? But she also quite possibly used her child to make a lot of money also, earlier. So I don't know. And I also don't know that she does that. She said that she didn't, and that if she really wanted her daughter dead, she would have just let her die from the early on illnesses that she suffered from. But then who would she sue, and how would she make money off of it, right? Anyway, Angelina Rodriguez, let me know what you think. Do you think she actually did all the crimes that people think that she did, or was she really just, I don't know, what she just had bad luck? I don't know what else you would say that she did. Anyway, let me know what you thought, and I'll see you later for another poisoning case. Bye.